Hey y'all, this is Dr. Tasha Rogers. Now you know my intro is usually hey girl, hey, but this is today. It is strictly for the fellas. I am coming in for the fellas today, and not in a negative way. I'm coming to save y'all. Real talk. And I know y'all being newsy, ladies, and y'all all up in our living room trying to figure out what I'm trying to tell the dudes, and that's cool. What I want you guys to do, straight up, stop it right here. Like it and share it. It is so important. One, because it keeps coming up on your algorithm and I keep showing up on your page if you like and share. And then I really, if you are a man, if you are in love with a man, if you are in lust with a man, if you have birthed a man, or if you are with a man in any way, shape, or form, or you feel like a man that you're cool with can benefit from this, please share it. Because it is so incredibly important. Now, if you are a fellow watching this and you are not familiar with who I am, my name is Dr. Tasha Rogers. I am an OBGYN, not so much OB anymore because y'all can have that baby delivering stuff, but I'm an OBGYN here in Atlanta. I have been practicing obstetrics and gynecology for 23 years now. I have owned my own practice for 12. I'm sorry. I've owned my own practice for 12 years. And I like to think that I do what I do very well. I have a very different style of practicing medicine and communicating with patients, and you'll get a chance to see that. And oftentimes I come to videos and I come up with different topics to discuss based on what I see in the office. And the reason I've spoken about this before in the past, and I'm sure if you do not follow me, welcome. Don't forget to hit subscribe because we're about that life over here. And if you do follow me, welcome back. But this week, I wasn't actually, I have very interesting scheduling with my office at this point, but I wasn't in the office this week, but I did have to pop in to do a couple of things that I needed to do. And I got semen analysis back. I had 3 semen analysis on my desk waiting to be evaluated. And I will send my semen analysis to fertility specialists. And the reason that I do that is because oftentimes if you get it done at one of these local labs, you go, they'll give you a cup and they rush you. You got to have it back within 2 hours, have it to the lab within 2 hours of ejaculating in a cup. And then it sits on the counter for 12 hours. And then it has to take a flight that night. Child, and then it sits at the lab for a little bit. What is y'all rushing with this 2 hours for when it's going to sit for damn near 24 anyway? And I don't really feel like the results are accurate. I feel like they are not going to be as good, I guess, as they would be otherwise. So I do send my patients and their partners to fertility specialists. And there's a collection room there. So you go in the room, you do whatever it is you do. It ain't none of our business. And you have a specimen in a cup. They literally take it from you, take it directly across the hall, put it under the microscope right then and there. And I just feel like you're going to get more accurate results that way. Unless, I guess, poor readings. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that's what I prefer to have my patients do. So I got just a little background on that. So I got 3 results back on my desk today. And they were abnormal. And I want to talk to men today. And the reason I want to talk to men, and listen, y'all can get into semantics of, well, do you mean this man? Listen, I mean somebody who was born with a penis and testicles, okay? I don't want to fight over who calls who what. I don't care. I promise you I don't. You can call yourself whatever you want to. You can live whatever. Baby, I don't care. I love you just the same. Okay, there's no judgment over here. And I don't want to squabble about the semantics of what's called what. No. If you were born with a penis and testicles, come on in here. This is for you. And I'm not saying it's not for anybody else, because I do feel like, ladies, you need to hear what I'm saying, but you need to hear it from the back of the room. I need all the fellas to come to the front, because I'm going to say some things that are gonna hit hard and they're gonna hit real, but y'all need to understand it. You need to hear it, and ladies, you need to hear them hearing it, and you need to hear it as well. One thing that I am big on, and you'll hear me say to my patients all the time, you can't have, good health, good sexual health, good vaginal health, a healthy pregnancy. You can't have that if your partner is not healthy. Now, before we actually get into the medical aspect of this, I really want to talk to the fellas about the social aspect of this and how difficult I receive that it is for y'all. Now, let me break this down, because when we talk about men and men's health, we get that it's a fragile ego thing, but what I think a lot of women don't get is just how lonely it is for you guys. Meaning, it is difficult to discuss if there's an issue. It is difficult to discuss if something ain't right down there. Okay, and it's difficult to discuss it with your OG, because honestly, the issues and the fertility issues and the medical issues and the infections, child, because some new stuff out here now that you may be suffering, that you may be suffering. A lot of the OGs did not suffer with those problems back in the day. And we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about fertility stuff. We're going to talk about low testosterone. We're going to talk about all of that stuff. But they didn't really suffer with that much back in the day. So not only is it difficult to be like, yo, bro, or OG, let me tell you about this problem I'm having. Like, that takes a lot of courage. And it doesn't happen very often. And then a lot of times the OGs are like, nah, man, you need to do this, you need to do that, and we're going to get into a little bit more specifically how that works. So a lot of times males are on an island by themselves. Although they're big and tough and they got a lot of bravado, they scary. They scared of needles. They scared the hair stuff. They scared of, because I don't know who, some little leprechaun back in the 1970s and 1980s, but they did used to do it though. Took back to the village. Don't go to the doctor. They're going to stick a Q-tip in the tip of your dick, and it's just going to be all bad from there. And they wasn't lying. It did used to be that way. And so men just was scared half to death. They wouldn't go. They still don't go. Because some of y'all hear that, yeah, they stuck a Q-tip in my penis. Girl, he lying. He lying. Don't nobody do that no more. Ain't nobody trying to grab up nobody's penis. Ain't nobody trying to do that. You're piss in a cup and you get some blood drawn. That's the extent of it. So he telling you he done stuck a Q-tip, he lying. He ain't been tested. And whatever result he telling you, he lying. I'm sorry, fellas. I had to snitch on y'all. Now, so at the end of the day, it's very difficult because, one, admitting like, wait, something might be wrong. Two, talking to somebody about it. Three, actually going to a doctor about it. And God knows, for the love of Jesus, we ain't finna talk to our woman about it, right? Right. So it really kind of puts you guys on an island by yourselves. And let me just explain how that goes, because what happens is, as women, we may not know what's wrong, but we kind of know like, wait, I think something is wrong. And when we try to bring it, and some women don't know how to act, they don't know how to talk, they don't know what they do too much, it creates an environment of being defensive. And women think that you're defensive with them when you may just be defensive about the situation. But either way, it's a defense type of thing, which it just all goes to the left, because it seems like you don't want to receive what they're saying. And then the woman gets frustrated, and then, I guess you kind of perceive that she's frustrated about what you got going on versus the way you're communicating. So we'll get to that as well. So I want to just try and give males a pathway, and I guess maybe like a blueprint as to how to get yourself straight, how to figure out whether you're straight, how to get yourself straight, and just caring about your own health outside of doing it for a baby or doing it for a woman or doing it for a relationship. Dudes go to the doctor, nah, I'm all right, you gonna draw some blood, you check my cholesterol, all right, cool, that's what's up. No, I ain't got no problems. And as long as you don't have an active STD, you like, no, I got checked. No, you didn't. When? No, you didn't. That was like the drive-through. That's like, going and sitting at Ruth's Chris versus swinging through the Cookout drive-through. And I say Cookout because I like Cookout. Ain't nothing wrong with Cookout, but that's big back behavior. But either way. So the point is, and most importantly, we need to give men a blueprint on what to do and why and what is actually happening. So A little bit of background, guys. The differences in now and years ago, it sounds very cliche, but it's the food. It is the food. When you have a lot of this processed food, and when I say processed, I mean your fast foods. And yes, Chick-fil-A is on the damn list. Okay. Chili's, Applebee's, all of these like franchise fast food, processed food places, the additives that they put into the food, they estrogenize you. Estrogen is like female hormone, right? So we're dropping our testosterone levels, we're increasing our estrogen levels, and that takes a hit on our fertility. It takes a hit with our weight. So a lot of times people now are more educated than say they were in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They had more hands-on jobs. They were railroad workers. They were construction workers. They worked, whatever, just manually with their hands, steel mills, coal miners, different farmers, different things like that. Whereas now, because of their hard work and the sacrifices that they made, we're able to sit behind computers with master's degrees and PhDs and bachelor's degrees and all different types of things. But unfortunately, what that creates is a higher level of obesity, less physical activity. And that plays into a role with some hormone levels. And we think that, we're just so bougie, like we've arrived when we're able to go to dinner 3 or 4 times a week, not realizing that you don't know what restaurants do to cut corners. So although it's an expensive restaurant, don't assume they ain't get their chicken from Walmart. You don't know. Okay, I'm just saying, period. So it is different things like that. Is a different environment. Males were more active back then. Women cooked more. I'm going to say it. Women cooked more, okay? Because it was a luxury to go out and money wasn't as readily available as it is now. So they cooked. You knew it was in your food. We have fresher food. Our vegetables weren't processed, and our fish wasn't farmed, and our meats weren't grown in a damn lab. We didn't have all types of crazy pesticides. We didn't have all types of steroids and antibiotics in our milk. And all the things. So it was different food. It was different timing. The water was different. And God only knows what's in the air at this point, child. We just all living on a wing and a prayer. But at the end of the day, that creates a different physical environment. And it's not just for the female. It is not just for the female. Obesity creates so many different issues in males, but not even just with obesity, because what you don't realize is that when you're, as a male, your portion of the pregnancy, the baby, whatever you want to say, if you have obesity, you increase that child's risk of developing autism. So you're just as important as mom, if not more important in some circumstances. When we talk about your overall health, it's not just your food, it's not just your activity, baby, it's some extracurricular activities. Let me tell you, did you know that hookah actually changes the DNA of your sperm? I said it, let me say it again for the people in the back. Hookah actually changes the DNA of your sperm, the consistency of your sperm, the motility of your sperm. It changes all that, just hookah. And I don't know how, man, I'm just sitting up on the hookah. It's like, what you doing? But anyway, so that part for weed smokers, my weed smokers, because, back in the weed ain't never hurt nobody. Like, it's never been no studies done to show. Okay, that might have been the weed that was growing in the bushes out in Ocho Rios or, Negril or whatever. No. Okay, over here, the synthetic weed, the Keisha, the Loud, all that stuff that you smoke and y'all be smelling terrible, just smelling up the place. That God only knows what's on it or what's in it. First of all, if you smoke enough of it, if you're a heavy recreational smoker, it can literally drop your sperm count to 0. Like, literally can drop your sperm count to 0. And in order for you to get your sperm count back up, You literally have to stop smoking for 3 whole months. Child, some of y'all addicted to weed like it's coke or heroin. I mean, I don't understand that it's supposed to be a bridge drug, a recreational drug. You're supposed to be able to pick her up Friday night and put her down Sunday morning. But I don't know. And again, we don't judge over here. We do hold you accountable, but we do not judge, okay? All I'm saying is that some things that you think are harmless absolutely are not harmless and can certainly be preventing you all from having, the family situation that you're looking forward to, or looking to, I guess, commence. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, yeah. So your general health is the thing, guys, and it's not just a woman thing. It's not something women just need to be focused on because they're trying to get rid of their fupa, or trying to get rid of their back fat, or I'm trying to I ain't trying to be a big back. No, it's not about that. It is really about your internal and overall health. It is so important. I want to get to another thing, sexual health, because it is a problem, y'all. It is a huge problem. I'm talking, these women are starting, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna have a balanced conversation with you because I'm not coming at y'all sideways. Let's be balanced. Like I said, I talk to women all day long, so I'm gonna give you what it is, okay? We're having difficulty starting at about age 20, 22, 23. Women are saying all the way up until now. Once we get, we hit mid 40s, 50, y'all slowing down on the stride. You really shouldn't be at that age either, but the stride is starting to slow down a little bit. That's going to be male menopause, which the average age of that is 50 or 51. We'll get into that. But at the end of the day, women are saying that men are having difficulty maintaining their erections. And I'm talking in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, okay? Difficulty maintaining their erections. You should be able to have sex 2 and 3 times a day in your 20s. Now, I don't know what's going on with the YNs, but at the end of the day, difficulty, maintaining an erection, so you can't stay hard, difficulty getting hard. Women are probably more than not, because now I ask, are having the men are having to stop, go and watch porn, or go and jerk off, or go and do something else in order to get an erection back, in order to finish the act. And some of them don't, and then we got gaslighting going on. You smell bad, or and sometimes they do, fellas, we're gonna get it, sometimes they do, but they smell bad, or you make it like they're not appealing because you may be embarrassed, or just a sense of, fear too, but just maybe a little bit of embarrassment. And why is this happening? And to be honest, a lot of it has to do with low testosterone levels. And as a male, you go to your primary care, and I'm not shitting on primary cares, but kind of I am, because my thing is, I feel like it's not a lot of effort put into your care these days. And you go to a primary care, oh, your testosterone is fine. Why? Because the reference range, it's a reference range. It does not mean that if I'm here, I'm good. No, it's a reference range, okay? And so your reference range might be 1 to 400, but as a 23-year-old man, you should be 6, 7. I'm sorry, child. Somebody was all up in my other lines. But anyway, so your numbers should be skyrocketing, 6, 7, 800. So if you're 300 or 400, they're looking at the reference range and they're like, oh yeah, you're fine. You're not. You're not. You're tired. You're eating poorly. You feel drained. You have brain fog. You can't complete a thought. You can't complete a sexual act. Some evaluation needs to be done. And that's okay. But let's call it what it is, and let's evaluate the way we need to evaluate. So, that is a little bit, it's the stuff. And it's like, well, why aren't we able to maintain these erections? Is it because we're overdoing it with the porn? Is it because we are jerk off kings and that's just what we do? Is it because we don't have a desire for the person? I don't know. It can be a bunch of different things, but these things need to be evaluated and not just brushed off, if that makes any sense. So it's just so many different things, again, that, you know, you got how much brown liquor you drinking, how much white liquor you drinking, how much you drinking, period, how much you smoking, are you popping pills on a regular basis? Like, your health right now, more than ever, guys, your health is impacting what is happening. Even at younger ages, your health and your lifestyle is impacting you. And we got to get it together. We got to get it together, because now when it comes to Black women, more than 50% are seeing fertility specialists. And all of that is not us. The rule of thumb is usually 33% is male, 33% is female, and the other 33% we really never figure out. But the numbers are staggeringly higher. 50% more Black women are actually seeking fertility help than 15 years ago. So we really have got to get it together. And one thing that I always notice is when women come in and they will say, well, what else can I do? Ma'am, you're having regular periods. You're not having issues with your periods. You're ovulating. Your tubes are open. There's nothing else you can do. They don't want, the partner refuses to have a semen analysis. They refuse. Well, what else can I do? You can't do anything else. It is a 50% equation. Because we can fix 50 things with you, but if we don't fix the one thing that's wrong with him, what, girl, bop. I just want to be like, girl, bop. But again, we don't judge. We do hold accountable, though. So a lot of that comes from, guys, you guys are so defensive about, and I get it, you know, it's a machismo thing, or like a, you know, you don't want to seem like a punk, or you don't want to seem like, you know, you can't, whatever the case may be. But if this is your partner, if this is somebody that you are wanting to share a family with, if this is somebody that you are wanting to, you know, spend your life with, theoretically, we never know these days, but if this is somebody who you're wanting more with, you have to learn to start opening up and communicating. It is not about whose fault it is. It is not about where the problem lies. It is about, let us get this fixed so that we can get what we're looking for and get what we need. And I like to say it like this. If the problem was your partner's, whoever your partner, wouldn't you support them? Wouldn't you ride out for them? Wouldn't you be like, all right, what we got to do? What we got to do? So why don't you ever give people that chance to support you? And, you know, when there's a lack of communication, that's when the defensiveness builds in. And that is when the, you know, and to be honest, as a gynecologist, a level of desperation comes in, because this woman wants this baby more than anything. And it can't happen, but they're afraid to talk to you. You won't go for a semen analysis, or they're afraid to ask you to go for a semen analysis. And they're just so desperate, and they just keep trying and trying and trying. And, you know, I'm like, well, tell me about him. Has he ever fathered any children? No. You know, and just on and on and on. And I really even have to go to the space of, well, girl, did he get a vasectomy and didn't tell you? Because that happens too. That happens too. Sometimes the fellas are like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, let's just keep trying. And y'all done had a vasectomy. Y'all know that's one of the little sneaky games y'all be playing. Y'all know, or y'all tell a woman, nah, that ain't my baby. I had a vasectomy, knowing damn well you didn't. So we got some stuff, but I'm talking in situations where it is a legitimate situation where somebody is really trying to start their family planning and there are issues. And guys, I want you to start understanding that, no, your responsibility goes further than just laying down, having sex, ejaculating in somebody and being like, all right, my part is done until it's time to pay some bills. No, that's not how that works. Your health is important, okay? Are you diabetic? Are you hypertensive? Do you need medication? Have you seen a urologist? Now, let me break this down because this is so incredibly important to me. I'm like, women, go to the gynecologist at like 18, 21. Oh, that's your mama's. Oh, come on. We got to take you to the gynecologist. And not that anything is wrong, but you got a whole situation down here. You need a specialist looking at that situation. Males, it is not enough to just go to your primary care doctor Okay, y'all need to be seeing a urologist. You got a whole appendage, like a whole situation hanging from the front of your body. Can you tell me why you don't feel like you need to see a specialist? Can you tell me why that has never been, like, a lot of women, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but a lot of women will complain and say, after I have intercourse, I always get a UTI, I always get vaginitis. Da, 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 da. A lot of times we'll check for the vaginitis. We don't see anything because we're looking for bacterial vaginitis versus aerobic vaginitis, which is a different type of vaginitis. But the aerobic vaginitis can actually come if you guys have an infection in your prostate. No, you might not feel it. No, it might not be any pain or any issues. But every time you ejaculate into that woman, because you have an infected prostate, now she has issues. I'm just saying. So when last time you had to thing check? When last time you been somewhere and had to check your urologist? Now, a lot of you guys don't like to go to the urologist for a couple of reasons, because they're going to check your prostate. Well, let me just tell you that is outdated. Okay, now my language is going to be a little off color, but I hope you hear me. If you got a doctor out there that is still sticking their finger in your booty to check your prostate, they a freak. And they ain't trying to check your prostate. They just like sticking fingers in the booty, or they so outdated with their medical care, you need to run anyway. Why? Because when you stick the finger in the booty for the prostate, that is feeling for the posterior or the back of the prostate, whereas we know that most cancers and tumors actually start in the front of the prostate. So even though they're feeling it, the chances of them missing something are so incredibly high. We know now that is not the way to go. The way to go is to draw blood, and this blood test is called a PSA. Okay, a PSA. And so you go to the doctor, be like, no, player, you don't even got to do that. You don't even got to play back there. We're not even doing that. What you're going to do is just draw this PSA. And if the PSA is abnormal, no, you don't have to go for a digital exam, because like I told you, it's not very accurate anyway. If the PSA is abnormal, then it's time to do some imaging. It's time to start looking at it. Let's get a CAT scan. Let's get an MRI. What is happening by this prostate? Why are my numbers coming back elevated? Do I have an infection? So a lot of different things can go on, guys. So it's not just about tightening up your beard and having a fresh lineup, and going to get your face mask. Because I love a man who will go and get a good face mask and some treatments and all the things, and beard oil and all the things. But it's not just about the superficial. What are you putting in your body? Are you drinking water? Are you taking multivitamins? Are you taking your vitamin D? Are you just walking, running? Are you getting some personal gym time in? Are you eating fruits and vegetables on the regular basis? Are you getting sleep? Are you controlling your weight? Are you seeing a urologist and a primary care doctor? And most importantly, if starting a family is what you're thinking about, or just either maintaining health, if you're with somebody who cares about you, and you have that type of relationship, because again, you got a bunch of different types of relationships out here, we don't judge, okay? But if you're in a caring type of relationship where you are vested in another person and that person is vested in you, if I can offer anything in 2025 and moving forward, please be okay with an open line of communication. If you can be open with anybody, be open with that person. And whatever it is you guys are going through, go through it together. Because to be perfectly honest, I'll never not tell this story. I love this story. A patient that came from another state to see me. She was having recurrent infections. She came from another state to see me. I tested her and I'm like, ma'am, I get that you have discharge. I see the discharge. I see it. There was no odor. There was no nothing, fellas. There was just a lot of discharge. And she was just so freaked out. And she kind of didn't want to communicate it with her husband because she was very embarrassed. So she would like clean, 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 clean. Before they would have sex, she would always clean, clean, clean. She just did not want him to know because in her mind, for whatever reason, it was a shortcoming and she felt embarrassed about it. And so I did a test, and you don't know Dr. Tasha, but baby, I checked 7 different vaginal infections, 5 different kinds of yeast, 2 different cervical infections, 3 STDs, and a cancer screen while we're at it. If you got it, I'm going to find it. I found nothing in this lady. And I'm like, but I do know. So then I started having conversation. I said, well, tell me about your partner. And she's like, well, no, I mean, he's fine. I mean, he, blah, 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 whatever. Blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, does he see a urologist? She said, no, he doesn't see a urologist. Da, da, da. And this really kind of happens. It gets really bad after we have sex and da, 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 da. And I said, I think you should see a urologist, have a conversation, and just have him see a urologist. Well, fast forward, thank God he had an open frame of mind. Like, he wasn't closed off. I know some men are just like, no, I don't want to talk about it. He was very open. He saw a urologist. Come to find out, you know why she was having all of that discharge, which were basically white blood cells? Her body was responding to the fact that he had testicular cancer. Thank God she came and said something. Thank God he was open, because it was like a stage 1 testicular cancer. And he's good. But imagine not. And imagine oftentimes women are running around scurrying, trying to fix themselves so that they don't have to bring anything to you, so that your ego is not bruised. But it's not about that. And at the end of the day, it's not even always about you. It's about the family. It's about the relationship. It's about, maintaining good and adequate health. So guys, I hope you're able to hear me with this. If you're comfortable with a female urologist, they're out there. They're out there. If you're comfortable with a male urologist, they're out there. But that has to be part of what you do. Make sure you're seeing a primary care doctor. Make sure you're keeping up with your own health. Make sure you have a urologist. Do your part, fellas. Do your part. And ladies, help them. Help them do their part. Just be open to communication. If somebody's not ready and they're not ready to take that next step to hear what you're saying, back off. Y'all know we can be, honey, that's enough drive. The Bible even say, honey, a man is cursed if he got a nagging wife. Y'all know that's in the Bible for real. I ain't lying. But the point is that, work together. Work together, especially, and I'm saying this is for all families, but especially for the Black family. We are in a state of crisis right now, and a lot of this can be fixed. A lot of this can be corrected by just simply lifestyle changes and communication and adequate health care. Please always tune in. I will let you all know what you should and should not be expecting from your providers. And if you're not getting what you should be expecting from your providers, do not be scared to switch off and find somebody who will give you what you're looking for. I hope this video blessed a bunch of people and a bunch of families, and that we charge forward in a positive direction and have better open lines of communication. Until next week, y'all, Dr. Tasha, bye. And don't forget to subscribe and like and share this video. Okay.